Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 1 of my What If Deku was the only girl with a quirk. So, in the last part, I left just before the entrance exam, right after the 10 months of training, and Tokoyami is the one that will have one for all. So, when Izumi and Bakugo arrived for the entrance exam, everyone was looking at Izumi like, what's a girl doing here? What is a girl doing coming to do the hero course entrance exam and stuff like that? Every time someone was talking while saying it just high enough for Bakugo to hear it, he was basically looking at them with a mean face like, what are you looking at? Basically screaming that, which everyone kind of looked away afterward. So, for the written exam, Izumi basically scored a 100, since her and Bakugo spend a lot of time together training and studying, and that he's basically pulling 100 out of his ass easily without even trying. So, in the anime, Izuku basically has easily 100s, but in this one, it's basically even easier for him. So, after the 100 on that, they went to the auditorium to listen to President Mike. He made his speech, blah blah blah. Then Ida standed up, asked about the 0 pointer, and then asked why a girl was here. When he asked that, Bakugo was basically stood up with his explosion and saying, "What do you mean, a girl? Don't you think she can at least try? Anyway, she's better than any of you, probably even stronger than some of the teachers." Which Ida was kind of saying, but girls don't have quirks, what do you want her to do? Which Bakugo was about to launch at him, and she basically grew her arm, grabbing him and saying, "Sit down." Which everyone was like, wait, she has a quirk. Ida kind of was shocked, and then she said, "Now that you know I have that, can you sit down so that he can continue speaking?" Which Ida kind of shut his mouth and listened to President Mike. Basically, everyone in the place was like, wait, she's a girl with a quirk? What the hell's happening? And basically, we're literally starting to think about everything like, how, without listening to President Mike saying the rest of what he had to say, up until he said to everyone to go for the practical against the robot. Everyone was separated. Ida was with Izuku, like in the original, and he kind of went to say sorry. Well, he was going to go and say sorry, but this time, compared to Izuku going to talk to Ochako and Ida stopping him, it was Izuku being on his own, Ida going to talk to him and Ochako, but a guy basically stopping him and saying, "You already troubled her enough. I don't think you should go and talk to her." Which Ida was kind of like, yeah, true. So when it started, Izumi basically placed her hand behind her and grew them larger. And basically, the second the doors opened, she made massive explosions, boosting him away. So basically, flying over everyone. She didn't grow her hand that much, just like doubled them in size to add some power to them, and basically flew over everyone, and then just turned giant fully, and basically smashed down against a massive amount of robots, breaking them, and then going on top of building and turning back down. Everyone basically saw the well everything in front of them full of robot, and then suddenly with just pieces. And then everyone looked at her, and she was just like sitting on the side of a building, well, on top of a building, looking down, saying, "If you want to get points, you should probably start running." Which everyone basically started running because, yeah, she's right. So, Ida was kind of beating himself up because he basically insulted someone that, just like Bakugo said, was probably stronger than any of them. So basically, everyone started breaking robots. Ida just got a little less points than in the original. And Izumi was basically just jumping around, breaking some robots. When someone was about to be really hurt, she was basically stepping in and protecting them, or breaking the robot, or taking them out of the way. And just was doing that until the zero pointer was released. Every teacher that was looking at her before the zero pointer was released were like, so this girl has multiple quirks, basically looking at her um, papers to know what she has, and they're like, so three quirks: a copy quirk, a a quirk like Mount Lady. Let's say she's in there and was, well, in the original it's Mount Lady. This time it's like Mountain Man. And he was like, she has the same type of quirk as, one of her quirk is basically the same as me. And Pixie Bob, which the name can go basically for both, was saying, yeah, and like me, this girl is different. This is the only girl with a quirk, and she's able to copy quirks and have two more quirks in addition to that. I don't know where she comes from, but her parents must be really happy that their kid is basically unique. Which All Might, which she kept the name, she still has that name, was like, that kid should have one for all. She's way more powerful than Tokoyami, and probably a bigger target if All for One learn about her. So basically, when the zero pointer was released, Ochako once again was stuck under rubble. Everyone started running, and then Ida just saw Izumi run past him. She threw some seed on the ground. Well, there were trees, if I remember correctly, so she didn't throw seeds. She basically controlled the trees to kind of push the rubble off of Ochako. He grabbed her, turned giant. She grabbed him, turned giant, keeping Ochako in one hand, and with the other basically made a massive explosion, destroying half of the robot at once, which basically everyone was impressed by that. She then brought Ochako back to the entrance of the place where um, the robots that where some robots that were basically bringing injured student to recovery guy, since I have to give other names for this one. So Ochako was, because if I remember correctly, Ochako is the family name, so that at least stays the same, so easier. Was saying thank you to Izumi. After that happened, Ida went and said sorry about what he said before, because, well, she was extremely powerful. She said that it was okay and started leaving. So, after the entrance exam, Bakugo and Izumi were talking, then went back home and waited for the letters to arrive. Both of them got in class 1A. Izumi got the highest score because of all of the robots she destroyed and because of all the help she did. And went to went when hey, it really didn't come out. When school started, she went to class 1A. Bakugo was there already. Ira talking to him. And when Izumi entered, basically everyone were like, so you did get in. That's awesome. With Mineta basically starting to go creep mode, which basically, since she's the only girl and that Bakugo basically goes out with Izumi already, if I didn't say it, they are together and their parents knows. So basically he grabbed Mineta and said, uh, what did you just say to my girlfriend? With everyone saying, huh? So you're together then? With Izumi saying yeah. Just after Ochako basically entered the class, so it was like, oh, they're already together. Their their personality seems to. Just thinking their personality seems to be really different. Like, okay, yeah, those two together might be a good idea. So Mineta basically got so scared that he didn't say anything else to Izumi. Basically, he never tried to even look at her because Bakugo was in the way. Basically, protecting her. Even though if she wanted to, she could probably squash Mineta in like a second. So when Aizawa entered the class, practically everything happens the same up until when they say go change. He looked at Izumi and said they built a special, well, they built a bathroom just for you so that you can change in peace, and told her where it was. So she changed. Everyone basically, when in the changing room, was asking Bakugo how long they knew each other. Then she said that they were actually childhood friends, and that before she got her quirk, he was basically already protecting her from the other guys that were acting all high and mighty. Then someone asked him about the scar over her eyes. Let's say it's Ochako, and he said, well, the first time her quirk activated, it was because of a guy who used his quirk and basically hit her with something. And she was already being bullied and stressed, and when that happened, her emotion kind of went out of control, which showed her for the first time her earth control. Everyone basically looked at him and saying, "Earth control? What the hell? I thought she had giantism and the same type of quirk as you, as well as plant control." Which Bakugo said, well, in reality she has giant... Well, he says she basically has earth control, giantism, and a copy quirk that has 5 places to store quirk for as long as she wants. And she copied my quirk and the quirk of someone who can control plants. So they're Shoto's basically thinking, so she's really powerful. Dad would like her. Because, well, his dad was basically looking for strong quirk. He basically, to have Shoto's mother, his dad was basically looking for males in the family of different girls, and saw that the dad of Shoto's mother had a powerful ice quirk. So he basically went with that and tried to make a kid that would have both quirks, which made Shoto. So yeah, Tokoyami was told by All Might about Izumi and that he wanted, and All Might told him that he wanted him to protect her at all costs because, well, she is the only girl with a quirk, and that her quirks are powerful, and that if All for One learned about it, it could be dangerous for her. So basically, when they went out, Bakugo was the one that was asked by Aizawa to throw the ball, which Bakugo did. He got like 850 something. Then someone said, "Oh, it looks fun," and Aizawa said the same truth as in the original. So everyone was stressed, and then they started for everything. For the jump, Izumi basically took rock and placed them and made them float under her, basically making her go get infinite because she can fly basically. And for the side to side jump, she basically threw some of her seed underground and made some type of bouncing moss, which basically she used to make exactly like Mineta, bouncing from side to side. For the grip test, she basically just crushed it by putting her hand giant and pushing on it. The last recorded the strength was basically the max before breaking. For the speed, she basically just placed her hand behind her, grew them like 3 times the normal size, and basically blasted herself across the thing like in a second. And basically was practically the first in every place up until the ball throw. Izawa told Izumi to go all out. He didn't want to see her holding back. And so she asked some of the other people in the class if she could copy their quirk. Which basically they said, so what do you want to copy? Basically he was before Ochako, so he didn't get one infinite already. And he basically went and copied his, thinking, yeah, there's probably a limit to how far it can go before, and then it stops. So he basically used that, then used explosion at the same time, and it goes infinite, which Aizawa says. Okay, so Aizawa tells him, okay, yeah, that's a great way of using quirks, but what if you only use those that you have normally without your copy quirk? He says he's going to keep this one anyway, probably, except if the one he's going to do now isn't that strong. So Izumi grabs another ball, turns into his biggest size, which even people outside the school basically see, and everyone in classes that are looking at the schoolyard basically see her growing bigger. She already has a suit made for that because, well, it's kind of needed for her to be able to do that. So basically, when they were little and they found out that she could use that type of quirk, basically his Inko, went and looked for a way to actually have a suit that grows, to make all of her clothes like that for if her quirk activates by accident. I'm sorry, I had something to check. So I think where I was that that Inko literally bought specially made clothes for her quirk. Basically, everything she has that is clothing can expand with Izumi. So even her jumpsuit was made like that because they knew of her quirk. So she basically threw it as far as she could, and well, because of her giant size, and that she went as strong as she could, it basically went to space as well. So Aizawa said, okay, yeah, you could have done it anyway without it. Well, you got infinite. Good job. Then everyone else did it. Ochako got infinite. Everyone else got their scores. And so Mineta was last. He wasn't expelled, and basically everything happens kind of the same. So next part is the hero versus villain with All Might. When All Might entered, everyone was happy to see him, basically going from fanboy mode. Then, when they went with the hero costumes, his hero costume basically has pocket for seats because of the quirk he copied. It has the same kind of gauntlet as Bakugo, and because of her copy quirk, they made basically multiple um, modification to it. Basically, they scanned, well, they basically scanned a multitude amount, well, no, they basically took multiple pieces of other costumes, basically baby copies Ochako's. Well, since he kept Ochako's quirk, he still has the pad on his fingers, so they basically made it so that his glove has just the tip exposed. It has the same thing as Bakugo for the gauntlets. Um, Everything on him can basically expand, and and it has pocket for grains. So the same teams are made, and when it is Bakugo and Ida versus Midoriya and Ochako, basically what they decide to do is Izuku grows himself, holding Ochako, basically punch through the wall and grabs Ida and Bakugo, and then Ochako goes and grabs the bomb. So that was easy for them. Bakugo basically said to Ida, let's say when they're planned, he basically said, we won't even have 30 seconds. They're already going to have won. And Ida was basically saying, wait, that's not even 10 seconds. With Bakugo saying, told you. So everyone else basically got the same scores, except with Tokoyami. I don't remember against who he was, but he did better. I think he was in the winning team in his battle. And yeah, so afterward, basically the next thing that happened is us seeing the League of Villain Infiltrating School, then Ida stopping them, everyone by saying it's just the press that got inside, and everything like that happening. And then later them going to the USJ. I'm going to stop it here. I don't know what name I'm going to give him for, well, a hero name. Well, because Izumi basically never had the name Deku. I'm just calling her that because I feel sometimes because it kind of just comes out. It does. Well, basically that makes it so that in the series right now, Bakugo wants to protect her because she's basically his girlfriend. Well, not basically, they are. It is a fact. Tokoyami was told by All Might to protect her at all cost, no matter what's happening. And Shoto basically keeps watch on her because he's thinking that his dad might try to make them grow up together, for them to have a kid, to make a kid overpowered. So he keeps an eye on her for different reason than the two others. It's not that he wants to protect her, more that he knows that if his dad knows about her, it might make problems. So yeah, this was part 1 of What If Deku Was the Only Girl with a Quirk. Hope you liked it. Natsu.